Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out the GitGud course. Instead of just understanding concepts, you'll learn how to implement them directly into your driving. What makes it effective is the approach and practical drills. Together, we're gonna focus on breaking down those complex concepts into small digestible bits that are simple to understand. Everything from the course was tested and refined during the years in coaching sessions, so what I ended up with was the ones that I saw were the most effective. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Now for the track guide. For turn 1, very important to maximize the track entry, you want to stay on the left with the right tires still on the white line. In terms of braking point, I'm braking at this white spot on the green part of the curb right here. Whenever I'm in front of it, I'm applying the brakes. I want to go into third gear. I don't want to brake hard here. So if you're gonna brake more than 60-70%, it's too hard. You're gonna cook your tires. Instead, brake softly, go to 50%, no more, and then trail braking to the corner and cut a lot like this. So the off-track limit for this curb is you having the left tires not on the white line but on the red and white curb. So because of that, we will use all the curb. And one important thing here, because in between this corner and the next one there's not a lot of straight, you don't need to over prepare the next corner. You just shoot the car deep into the corner to carry a lot of speed right now, and then for the next corner we'll brake harder and we'll still gain time. So you don't want to prepare the next corner like being all the way to the right. It's not worth it. You can just shoot the car a bit more deeper into the center part of the track and then pushing the brakes a bit harder and cutting this curb like that. Super important to cut this curb a lot. You will get pushed all the way to the right side here. It's perfectly fine because we will cut the next one as well. And with the throttle lift, we will just try to not go into the off-track limit into the next corner. So super important to cut on the previous corner. But again, here, notice that I want my car to be positioned like that. So this lift that you just saw is just the result of me trying to figuring out how much track I can use. Now in terms of braking point for this corner, I'm using this end of the gravel right here, or where the grass starts. At this point I'm applying the brakes. You don't want to brake really hard. You're still gonna peak around 70 or something, but don't go to 100%. Super important to not brake hard, because right now we'll have like a double apex approach, and if our tires will be overheated, then the car won't turn as much. In second gear, kissing this red and white curb, super important, and trail braking all the way to this part. At this part I'm giving it a blimp of throttle so that the car will get a bit of rotation from the throttle itself by also carrying the minimum speed like this, using all the curb to turn in. And for this corner, in order to make the front tires point, in order to put the nose of the car into the tarmac and have more grip at turn in, I'm doing a lift. With this lift you're gonna shift a bit of the weight to the front, and while doing the lift, whenever you see that the car is pointing, you can pick up the throttle again. So here's the game of playing with the throttle input. You don't want to drop it all the way to 0 or 20-30%. You're gonna drop it too much, so you find the minimum amount of throttle drop that you can do so that you can carry a lot of speed, cutting this curb all the way like that. And you have to be careful here, because if you're gonna go way too soon from your lifting position to 100%, like stamping on the throttle, the car will start to oversteer, because you're turning to the right side, and if you're gonna push the throttle too much, the car will slip. Instead, you want to do what I did here, just take it a bit more gradually, a bit more gentle. And the next corner is the same, you just have to do a bigger lift for this one, like this. And getting back to third, again off-track limit, having the car on the white line with the left tires, super close. This one was super close to be an off-track, so be careful. Now for this corner, it's important to not stay on the right side. The next corner, you're gonna be on the right side when braking, but if you're gonna align yourself at this point with the corner, you will travel a longer distance. You will go around the corner. Instead, you want to go diagonally towards it, so you will keep the car in the center of the track, and now you will start to go more and more to the right like this, going diagonally into the corner. Of course, in the braking zone we want to use all the available track, meaning left tires on the white line. I'm braking at the white line here, and while braking into this corner, it's quite important to touch this white line. You don't want to touch the red and white curb at all because it will push you wide. Instead, you want to apex around the white line, trailing a lot, as you can see here, so a lot of trail braking going on. And while putting the power down, super important again here to not go just a bit more on the right side, you will get an off track, so off track limits, quite annoying. The next corner can be easily a make or break in the lap because it leads to a huge straight. So what you want to do in approaching it, you want to open it up. That's the first thing. You want to increase your radius into the corner. You won't have time to put the car all the way to the left. You can go, in theory, you can go a bit more on the left side, but because this corner comes very quickly, you don't have time to prepare it like that. So you will do your best to open up, but don't overemphasize opening it up because you will turn too late. So you won't have time to properly open up, but you will do the best as you can. While going into this corner though, super important to not brake while going into the corner. You want to brake almost in the middle of the corner. So right now, still going, and after the white line, so you can see a white line on the tarmac in front of the car, like right now. We have this white line around here. After you pass the white line, that's the moment when you're going to apply the brakes. You can also use as a reference for braking the beginning of the green curb from the right side. So here, whenever it starts, you're going to apply the brakes. And your goal here, like if you're looking into this corner, you just want to go straight and then turn. So you want to push the car all the way to the outside like this to almost touch the white line from the outside. And from this angle, you're going to turn into the next corner. Again, because we're going diagonally, you're basically going straight, but then you have to turn a lot to take the corner. You don't want to brake hard initially. You don't want to kill the momentum. We need the minimum speed going in this corner, but we also need the front tires alive so they can grip. So not going more than 60%, trailing, still on the brakes, still trailing because you want a late apex, still on the brakes, and then you go on power. A lot later on power here, but super important to use all this track here on exit. The car will be oversteery, so you have to modulate a bit the throttle. You saw that the car was snappy. But now if you had a good run, you will gain a lot of time on this straight. What's important here in this corner is to get very close and touch this curb. If you're gonna miss it by like half a meter or 1 meter, you can lose like 0.02. So 3 lap time, just focus on touching this curb, but don't go all the way on the curb, just touching at the white line. And now for the next corner, here again, you want to go flat out into the corner like this. And whenever the car will straighten up a bit, like whenever you'll have almost straight steering angle and pushing it to the outside, then you're gonna apply the brakes. So don't brake while you have a lot of steering angle applied. First, turn into the corner, push the car to the outside with the steering wheel straight so you can maximize the efficiency under braking, then apply the brakes. And while braking, don't brake too hard here. This is not a heavy braking corner, it's something like a medium braking zone, 50%, using all the track again to open up the next corner, and downshifting to third for the next one as well. The moment that you're in the middle, like right now, you have to be back on power. You don't have to brake a lot into this corner. You really want to push the car all the way to the left side again. So you have to be at the apex, you want to be back on power like I'm right now, pushing the car all the way to the left. And in terms of braking for this corner, I'm using this white line in front of the tarmac. Whenever I'm close to the white line, I'm applying the brakes into this corner and I go to first gear like this. Be careful though that you will have some wheel spin when you go on power. So this was one of my mistakes. I go way too aggressive on power. I feel it and now I modulate it, but I should have felt it a bit earlier because right now I lost 0.05. So almost half a tenth just by being a bit too greedy on throttle. Super easy to lose this time, but also it's very rewarding when you're patient and you're feeling the grip levels. Now for the next corner, you want to position the car so that you will touch the white line. You won't have enough time to go all the way. Maybe you will have a bit more time to position just a bit better if you don't have the wheel spin from the previous corner. So it depends, but for sure you won't have time to position all the way to the green. So use the track as much as you can, but don't turn late into this corner. If you're gonna turn late, then it's gonna be it's gonna be super hard for you in the next one as well, because you will arrive with less speed and we have a straight, so not ideal. Now, while approaching this corner, you want to go flat, and while you're going closer and closer, you want to do the lift like this and upshifting to third, cut the curb. You will arrive here on the right side without getting the off track. And for the last corner, you can use as a reference for braking the beginning of the curb, like right now when the white starts to begin here. You will apply the brakes in second gear, apex around the green part, but don't go on the green, so stay on the red very closely to the green. And in short, that's a track guide for Misano with Ferrari 296.